Showing up a little late, about 20 minutes ago, my computer decided to have a mind of its own, which is fine. All good. Goes to show that technology is wonderful when it works, but when it doesn't, it's like crazy. So I want to use this time in this space. I'm going to move my computer over just a little bit. I want to use this time in this space to offer you a chance to ask me questions, share thoughts that you have, things that you're learning in life or discovering via maybe it's even through coaching with me. Maybe you have questions about coaching. What coaching is, what it's like, what is it like to have it? What is the experience to have a coach? If we haven't met, I'm Catherine Hood. I am a happiness coach, a title that I coined myself, thinking that, it really defines what I do. I help individuals and small groups clarify what happiness is for them. A lot of times we think that happiness is in milestones throughout our life, or when I have this, I'll be happy then, and all these different things. But I really help you have happiness every day, achieve that. Why do chickens eat their peckers? Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the comment. Interesting. But tell me where you're chiming in from, where you're at right now, whatever you're comfortable with, the city, the state, the country. For me, I'm here in Spokane, Washington. It's 44 degrees. It's really warm. It's gloomy. I really think that we're not gonna have winter. Believe if I looked and saw it right, we're gonna be about 50 degrees in the very near future. So wild, right? Wild. I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but feel free to tell me, are you in the middle of winter? Did you experience winter? I don't It's just wild. Still have a lot of lovely friends and family that are in Alaska, so they definitely experienced 40 below and worse a couple times this year. So I don't know. Are we having global warming, or is just a warm, unique winter? I don't know. I'm embracing it. I love it. I love the fact that we, just have mild winters here in Washington. But I am ready for more sun. I will give you that. I am excited to have sunlight at 5 p.m. I'm excited. I actually hear the birds outside too a lot now, and I really enjoy that. But if you know me well, you know that I love a quote, a good quote. A quote that really rang to me really loud and clear this morning is: inaction breeds fear and doubt. Taking action breeds confidence and courage. That's Dale Carnegie. Um, so I really, really love that quote. There's a lot of individuals that I work with that are frozen in fear, stuck in fear. And a lot of them don't even realize it's fear. They're just in action. They are in doubt. They are in a state of worry, concern, anxiety, you name it, but all of these are just a flavor of fear. So it's interesting in the way that when I point it out and show them that they are in a state of fear, and that's not the words I usually use, but I use their own words, and where that comes from. We don't need to know why and what caused it, what created it. We all know what that is, right? Something in our life in the past, and that's totally fine. But that's not what coaching's about. Coaching isn't about going in the past, healing old wounds and resolving old issues or processing things. That's not what coaching's about. Coaching is enabling you to move forward powerfully. Understanding how your mind, your thoughts, your consciousness, the stories that you create, and how your brain is either working against you or for you. And I show my clients in an easy way how to work with your brain. Use that superpower computer that's really like a computer from the 1990s. It's super simplistic. And understanding how the brain works and why you aren't moving forward, why you're not taking action, and in a light way. We don't stay there very long. It's not about months and years of unpacking and healing and none of that. That's therapy. Go see your therapist for that. But what I help you do is understand what that fear really is, what's creating it in a way that's kind of like this aha moment, this, wow, I had no idea. And that makes total sense, and allow you to disassociate with it, detach from it, understand that that's not who you are, that's not your identity, and how to overcome it in a way that you feel empowered. So you are taking action, you are more confident, you are stronger, you are resilient, and cope. Ooh, read Litany Against Fear from Dune. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for that feedback. Um, so what do I specialize in? Really, a lot of coaches that you'll see online or wherever, in searches or whatever, they have really deep niches. And I am working on that. That is soon to come, but I really like working with a variety of people. And I do. My youngest client has been 17. My oldest client has been 70. So it's a variety of ages all across the US and Canada, male, female, different challenges, different times of their life. But really what I love to help my clients on is helping them change their automatic thoughts. Because when you understand, again, your thoughts, your consciousness, your mind, and your brain at a deep level, you'll realize that you have a lot of automatic reactive thoughts, and you're believing them. You're attached to them. You're identified with them, and you're believing them. You're creating stories that are shrinking your world, limiting you, putting yourself in a box, labeling yourself with all these different things that may or may not be true. I think that the world that we live in wants us to believe that there's something wrong with us, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your old, archaic 1990 computer brain has programming, some learning that it's learned over the many years that can be unlearned. Oh, thank you for following my stuff and saying that it's inspiring. Thank you. Thank you. So I help individuals in small groups understand their mind, their thoughts, their consciousness, and their brain, and work with them in a way that they're able to navigate everyday life or shift the experience that they have every day into a way that's more empowering and more happy, more joyful, more whatever, however they articulate it. But first and foremost is a lot of people don't know what they want. They don't know what it looks like. They don't even know how to describe it. Now, they can deeply describe what they don't want and what they currently have. Like, they can explain it. I had a brand new client yesterday, first session, and man, he could describe it in a way that, I mean, I was like, it felt like a movie screen that I was watching. I could see his life and how, and he's very young, early 20s. So if you're watching this, hi. But he could describe it in a way that I could feel it viscerally, like I could sense what it was like. And I asked him how he wanted to feel, and he couldn't describe it at all. Tongue tied, very, like this wall came up, and he's like, I don't know what you're wanting me to say. I'm like, it's not about what I want you to say. It's about articulating what you want. Dream, use your imagination, share with me what you're doing, what you're thinking, who you're around, what your environment is, what's going on in this transition to being who you want to be. So I feel that that's very common with a lot of my new clients is they don't know who they are. They're lost. They're lost in the mix. They're lost in the maze of what everyone wants them to do, what's normal, what they should do. That word comes up in almost every first call I have with a potential client. Like, I have an intake call, see if I'm a good fit, see if I resonate with you, see if you're coachable. Almost every single initial call is like, I should be doing these things. I have to do these things. I need to do these things. That language to me is really proves to me that you don't know who you are. There's this huge wedge between who you are and who you wanna be, and a lot of people have done it for decades where they just don't know who they are. So I help you see and create your own experience in life and how you want it to be. I love helping and serving people. I love coaching. I love these aha moments that I feel in a coaching session where people are like, "I never thought of it that way. Wow, I had no idea. That makes a lot of sense why I'm doing these patterns, why I'm dating the same people, marrying the same people, going from job to job to job to job, and I hate my jobs. Like, I hate them all, and I keep running from this feeling, but it's following me, and I don't know why." Makes total sense. So I really hold space and time for my clients weekly, biweekly, however often you want. Honestly, the best, greatest momentum in the initial phases every week, but that's up to you. You choose your cadence. You choose how often we meet. I have clients that do it like very infrequent, just like a tune up, if you will, but they've been with me for years. So, and if you're watching this, thank you. But I love coaching. It's such a, and I get coaching every Thursday. I'm scheduled to do that here in a few hours. I also am a part of a couple other groups that are kind of like group coaching. And then I also have a site that I go to for emergency sessions. But most of my coaching isn't about solving a problem. It's not about a challenge. It's just a feeling that I feel that I don't want to feel. And it really gives me that space and time to understand it, move through it, make peace with it, understand it, or maybe not even understand it, but really making peace with it and acknowledging it, letting whatever it is that's going on non-consciously feel seen, heard, and important, and letting it move through me. Okay. So for me, it's about giving people the power to have a more fulfilling, meaningful, purposeful life. Because I myself was in a place of deep unhappiness for a very long time. I thought happiness was in success. It was in having a perfect body. It was in having all the materialistic things that I thought were would signify that I was happy, productive, successful, whatever you want to label it, right? I was on this hamster wheel of constantly chasing, chasing, chasing. I'd go on vacations and my head was about what I'm going to do when I get back. I wasn't even on vacation with, I mean, my body was, but my head wasn't. So I had to really learn what that meant too. So, aloha. Yay. Thank you. Yes, and speaking of aloha, that's where we would go to vacation every January because we lived in Alaska for 30 years, but, thank you for that. So, topics that I'm working on currently with my clients, just to name a few, and again, I kind of alluded to it, is it's not always about solving problems. I have several clients that have been with me for a number of years, and they just schedule a session every week or every month, and it's just about tuning up, understanding how they think, process things, how they are. It's almost like an up leveling each time. You know, they sometimes will just spend 5, 10 minutes and give me an update on their life, and maybe somewhere where they're feeling a little bit sticky, not stuck, not a challenge, but feeling a little bit sticky and like and felt a little bit of resistance or sensed an energy shift in a relationship at work or with a coworker or a partner in a company or um, family members or a partner or a loved one or a spouse, you know, so they just really want to continue to improve and grow that intimacy with someone else or with themselves. I have several clients that are working on big projects, writing books, making, creating a new business, doing different things, and they just really want to maintain productivity, right? Staying on track, focusing on what is most priority. Sometimes especially with a new startup, they don't know what to prioritize. There's just such a long list that they describe it as like they feel like they're at the bottom of a huge mountain that they can't figure out what to do first, right? Um, so those are pretty common. Up leveling skills, overcoming anxiety is another one that's been really popular lately. You know, worries about the future, understandably so. If you're consuming and digesting a lot of doom and gloom in around people or in environments that are, um, you know, talking about it a lot or spreading that fear. So I'm really dealing with a lot of people that are navigating that, and several young individuals too, um, which breaks my heart, to see that, but we're really making huge, huge triumphant momentum forward and overcoming that in a simple way. So, also several clients that are again kind of wanting help and accountability following through what they say they'll do, and that's on several different areas. That's physical fitness, to working on a project, working on a website, a book, or different things that they have going on, projects that they're and also even hobbies, like just wanting to really go outside of their comfort zone, I guess is probably the best way to describe it in several different areas of life. So, but that's probably the most common ones. And then relationships. I love working in the relationship space, up leveling a marriage type situation or relationship. Those are always my favorite. I do coach individuals in that situation. So I'll have like a husband and a wife. I'll coach them totally separate. You're on separate calls, separate days, separate. You bring the topic to me that you want coaching on, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't even know that they were married. It's never ever the same topic they want coaching on. And if it is, the version and how they describe it are completely different. So it's like I wouldn't even know that they're married. But I do love coaching married couples or in the space of improving your marriage or your relationship. That's a lot of fun to me. I used to be years ago, I used to, for whatever reason, be a little bit scared of that. I don't know why, but I went and got certified and I was like, man, this is like easy peasy. It's very simplistic. And truthfully, it's, developing the skills of having a healthy relationship to yourself and life, and the rest of it's easy. Like, if you really wanna strip it back, that's how I look at it in my head when I'm coaching somebody. I'm like, I'm looking to coach the person, not the relationship. I'm coaching how healthy is their relationship to themselves and life, and then once we get that really down pat, like, having a relationship to somebody else is very easy. But there's a lot of confusion on the internet right now. There's so many things about red flags, green flags, the five languages of love, and all these different labels and titles and categories and narcissists and all these things that are being overly used. And oh my gosh, it's just exhausting. All that in my coaching is gone. I make it easy. Actually, really, really easy in a way that you're going to go, whoa. In fact, I had feedback on a client I coached last week that she's been married for, I think, 15 years, and, they have small kids, and they've just really grown apart. And I had a coaching session with her, and she just sent me an email yesterday, in fact, that she really appreciated. She gave me great feedback. She's like, I didn't realize that I was doing that. I had no idea what I was doing, and you really made it very clear, which I call like the spinach in your teeth. Like, you don't even know you have spinach in your teeth. You don't realize what you're doing. You don't realize that you're looking at your spouse through the lens of um, judgment, right? For instance, that's a big one. And criticism. And so she had no idea that that's what she was doing. And so he was doing the same thing. And I mean, they just were growing further and further apart. So, but anyways, I gave her the really third grade level version of how to navigate this and move forward powerfully. And really, the antidote is being very curious. And she's like, I haven't been curious in probably 10 years. So, that's just, there was obviously a lot more in that coaching session than that, but she found that to be very powerful. So, anyways. So if you guys have any questions, I guess I should have said that earlier. If you have questions, feel free to put it in the chat. I tried to get hooked up on LinkedIn and it didn't work today. And back to my technology issue, everything crashed about 8 minutes before I was going to go live. And so I had to reboot my computer and re-log in, and for whatever reason, it's not connecting to LinkedIn. So I'm a little bit bummed about that, but I will post the recording for my LinkedIn fans. But I see Facebook's here, so I appreciate you. In the Dose of Positivity, the recent post that I posted in there that got a lot of feedback was, and if you're not in the Dose of Positivity, please join it. If you don't have the link, just comment, "I don't have the link," and after I log off later, I'll give you the link to access that group. It's really a fun group that I try to post like 1 to 5 posts a day. I know some of you probably think it's overwhelming, but some of you love it. Some of you I get a lot of really good feedback. I think the most common feedback is I don't comment because you make me think and I don't know what to say. But the most recent comment or the recent post that got a lot of comments on it is forgiveness is freedom for you. So you're right. If you read that, that might spark a lot of thought in your world. If you're packing around a giant backpack full of boulders of, um, resentment, anger, with people in your past, right? So holding a grudge is like drinking poison, right? You are drinking the poison, not them. They're probably not even thinking about you. Whoever it is. Okay, good, Jenny. I will make sure to get that for you. I'd love to have you in the group. Cool. Go back to the kitchen. Yeah. But yeah, it's about forgiveness is freedom. Forgiveness allows you it's really a gift. I would say that's probably the best way I could put it. It's a gift for you. So no longer are you drinking the poison, you're actually blessed with a gift that keeps on giving. Because when you choose forgiveness, you release yourself from all that heaviness, all that burden, that weight of negative emotions that you're carrying around that really cloud and overhang every moment in your mood and every single day, right? So every time you're thinking about it, you're making that neural pathway stronger to that event or that thing or that resentment or that anger or that frustration or whatever. So really giving forgiveness like deep in your core in your bone marrow, like you really really have to feel forgiveness in a way that you feel free of it. You feel it in your body. It can really allow you to feel lighter and that peaceful, that harmony that we all really want in every day. You can forgive them, but it does not mean you have to allow them back in your life. You're right. Yes, absolutely. I can contest to personally doing that. Major, major forgiveness, but there's no space in my life for that person. And what was really cool for me is going through that experience in a big way, in a big, situation. I found that because that person was removed out of my life, I had energy and space to actually pull in like 3 people into my life that really kind of replaced that one person that was just so big and burdensome. And it was just constant, like, difficulty in navigating that relationship. It was like, what's gonna happen next, right? There was just so much worry and concern that there was always gonna be something that, like, hold on, that other shoe is gonna drop any moment. But releasing that person really gave me that freedom and that lightness to open up new doors and have new people in my life. I use the metaphor a lot in, relationship wise, is like our life is like a train. So you get on the train when you're born, and then, of course, the train ends at some point, right? We're all gonna die. Gotta be forward about that. But in throughout your life, there's many, 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 many stops, many, 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 many train stops. And there are going to people that come on the train and come off. There are going to be people that stay on for several train stops. Some of them are going to get off the train without you knowing and come back on without you knowing, or knowing. Or some people you'll invite back on, and some people will stay on there too long. Some people you have to boot off in the middle of going down the track. Some people you wish would get off and don't get off. And again, you're like, you gently have to nudge them off on the next stop. But I'm telling you, when your train is full and it's loaded up with a lot of people that really take up a lot of space and a lot of your energy, it really is a drag. It drags that train. It makes that train a lot slower. It moves at such a slow pace and it makes life feel so heavy and so burdensome. So it's really important to get rid of people off that train that are a drag. And I mean, it doesn't matter who they are. It doesn't matter what you owe them. If you believe you owe them something and you have that story, they're never going to leave your train. and you're going to be miserable for a large part of your life and you're going to regret it, right? So it's really about forgiveness, and you're right, allowing them to move on as well, right? So maybe their train needs you off their train too, right? So I really feel like that's such a great metaphor for, um, yeah, letting people off, get them off your train, and gently, obviously, is ideal. But if you have to, just kick them off and block them on every single method possible. And I work actually, with several clients that have done this in this last year, removed, toxic family members out of their life. I don't really like to call them toxic, but that really is what it is, in their words, in many other words, and in worse words than that, they describe people in their life that are their family, or maybe not even by blood, but by some means or whatever. They were, adopted family or whatever. But they've actually cut people out of their life, and man, they are now soaring. Like, it's almost like I feel like not only were they weighed down by that backpack of boulders, but they didn't have the energy, the capacity, the bandwidth, the ability to live life fully. And now they are. Like, they're really soaring. They're really out there exploring and doing new things, figuring out who they are, what they like, what they enjoy. I usually see this in that space right there. I usually see this in the pleaser type of people that are out there pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring into other people, serving, 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 helping people at a level that's almost like nursing. I picture that with a lot of nurses and teachers where they're not paying attention to their health, and usually they have really bad health. Um, and they just the resentment just continues to build because they're overperforming in all their relationships. Well, naturally, everyone is going to underperform in those relationships. And when you serve, 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 and you help people at such a level that you're over serving, these other people are naturally going to do less and less and less, and they're going to do nothing for you. Right? And the belief is of the pleaser is that eventually someone's gonna come and save them. Eventually, they're gonna return that favor, but that's not how relationships work. So, I've worked with several people over the last year that we've broken them from that pattern. Again, that spinach in their teeth, right? These stories and these beliefs that they've created in a way of being that's a habit of thought and a habit of action that has created a life that they're miserable in. Right? They have huge resentment. They have, regret, pain, misery, suffering, and this dynamic in these relationships that are really just harmful for their own mental, emotional health. So we've worked to the point where they've freed themselves, and a lot of them literally have moved, like moved miles and miles away from the family or whatever. um, Divorces, all kinds of things where they just change jobs. I mean, major changes in their life. And it's so cool to see that. It's almost like a new butterfly being born. Like, it's just crazy. And they do it on their own. Like, I'm just hold space for them and point out the spinach in their teeth, point out the habits of thought, the habits of behavior that's keeping them in this repetitive pattern and feeling miserable. But forgiveness is a great, word too, because it's really important for these people that are moving on to forgive the people in their past, right? Because otherwise you carry that with you and you believe that there's something wrong with you if you don't, right? There's something wrong with me. I'm different. I did something wrong. I'm a bad person. All that stuff has more weight in your backpack. So I've worked with a lot of people create new beginnings, new possibilities in that space. And like I said, with me, releasing someone that really was a big energy zapper in my life, it opened me up to new connections, and I connect with new people. And I'm no longer, you know, burdened. I no longer have walls or this shield protecting me because, I'm being hurt constantly by this other person. It's a process, but it is healing. It takes bravery and courage to kick people off your train. But it's almost like another metaphor would be pruning back the hedges, right? So rose bushes or hedges, They grow bigger and better and more beautiful when you cut back all the dead branches, right? There's so much gift, there's so much potential, there's so much possibility when you trim back the hedges. And it gives you a sense of liberation. It gives you a sense of freedom. So remember that forgiveness is not for other people, it's for you. In fact, the other person doesn't even need to know about the forgiveness. It's for your mental, emotional health. So, interested in what would be interesting for you to speak about in the future on here, live, whatever interests you. Love to hash out any new topics. I do have a podcast. I'd give you the link, but again, I lost everything before coming on here. I don't even think I can find the link right now. And I don't want to start typing away on the computer. But what am I at on that? My goal is to get, so we're moving, in the midst of moving over this next week and a half. So I won't be here next week. I'll be in a different location, literally, but I won't be live next week. I've got to get settled in. It's still a mess. But I don't remember. I think I'm like at 80, 89. I don't know. I'm way up there. But once we get moved, once we get settled, once the dust settles, metaphorically and literally, I want to do a podcast a day. I have enough content easily for 30 days. It might be, I might postpone it until after April because I am prepping for a bodybuilding show, and that takes a lot of my energy. And especially a week from today, I think, whatever the first is, it's going to have more demand on me. So I might wait until after that. So my mental capacity my bandwidth is a lot bigger, but it's a variety of topics. It kind of gives you a peek at kind of the variety that I work with. A lot of clients submit questions to me in between coaching sessions that they want answers to without coaching around it. Like they want to use their coaching session for the big, hairy, ugly thing that keeps them up at night or whatever. And then they just want kind of my tips and suggestions in between sessions. So a lot of them are my clients. The content that I have saved is just kind of like an arsenal of old stuff and great topics that kind of give you a peek at the variety that I can work with you on. But also if you're struggling, I'm here for you. And maybe you're not struggling. Maybe you're just wanting to up-level your life, have greater happiness, more joy, more experience life differently, however you want to articulate that. If you're struggling in relationships or wanting to improve relationships, want to figure out what you want to do with your life. That's another really big topic, actually, that I've been working with a lot of younger individuals. But do the brave thing, ask for help. And maybe it's not even me. Maybe you ask a different coach, and that's totally cool too. But ask for help. That's a courageous move to say, hey, I would like some help. I'd like to have a thinking partner. Sorry, I have a client that I got to get ready for. Maybe it's a thinking partner is what I like to say, a partner with my clients and working through whatever it is important to them. So feel free to text me 509-800-7264. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, maybe you don't want to put it in the chat. I have gotten a lot of private messages on all the different platforms. They didn't want to comment. They didn't want it public, and I get that. I think more and more people are leaving that model because I feel like there's so much hate that they're going to get, I don't know, they're worried about what other people think, I think, maybe more than anything. I'm not sure. But, feel free to message me privately or text me. I also do offer a 10% code on these lives, every single live. It's 10% off of 5 60-minute coaching sessions. So it saves you $40. And the code is HELP22222024. So that's the code for this week. It's only good for 1 week. If you want 10% off, 5 60-minute coaching sessions. So it's HELP22222024. But yeah, so you guys are amazing. You're incredible. Thank you for your engagement. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a hello, a hi. Give me some social credit. somehow, some way. But I thank you guys for being here for me, and share this if you know somebody that would benefit from it. And as always, you can always reach out to me. I'm here for you in whatever capacity. So thank you, Jenny. Yeah, I'll post that link here shortly. So you're amazing. Thank you for hanging in there. All right, guys. See you later. I'll see you in a couple weeks. It'll be a different environment, right? I don't know what it'll look like. It might just be a white wall for a little while. So bear with me on that. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.